Okay, y'all. So today we are going to take a look at marginal analysis, right? Marginal analysis in rational decision making. Marginal analysis, right? Looking at marginal costs and marginal benefits of consuming or using economic goods, services, or some kind of productive resource is really one of the first topics in this class in economics that tends to trip students up. It's kind of the first difficult kind of topic, although it's not so difficult, it can be a little bit intimidating for students. So that's why we're going to take a look at it today. Um, and we will see that it's not really so scary, right? After you practice it a little bit and you understand what's going on, it's not such a difficult thing. But before we get talking about marginal costs, marginal benefits, and marginal analysis, we need to understand uh, kind of a foundational economic concept, which we call rational decision making. In economics, we talk about people, businesses, and governments making decisions about how to use their resources or productive resources in a rational way. And what we mean by rational decision making is that we assume that people, businesses, and governments are going to make decisions that maximize their benefits and minimize their costs, right? In a way that maximizes their total benefit, right? Their total benefit, which means the benefits minus the costs. So in economics, we assume that people are uh, profit maximizers, right? That's what we call it, right? They're profit maximizers, right? Which means that they just want to benefit from their decisions to the greatest extent possible compared to the cost of their decisions. So, profit maximizing, right? It's a term that we might not be familiar with, but it's a basic concept that people just want to maximize benefits and minimize costs, right? So, as we begin talking about marginal benefits and marginal costs, I want you to imagine a scenario where you are at an all you can eat pizza buffet, right? Like CC's or Stevie B's or something like that. Or it doesn't have to be pizza. You can imagine that you're Golden Corral eating anything. Um, and when you go to an all you can eat buffet, you pay a certain amount of money basically at the door, and that amount of money allows you to eat as much pizza as you want. So if you can eat as much pizza as you want at the pizza buffet, why would you not eat the maximum amount of pizza or an infinite amount of pizza? What makes people stop eating pizza at CC's or Stevie B's or some other pizza buffet? Um, why wouldn't they just go on forever eating all that pizza? They paid for it, right? So why wouldn't you stop? So I want you to take a moment. You can pause the video, or you can just think. If you went to a buffet, and maybe you've been to a buffet before, an all-you-can-eat buffet, um, what stops someone from eating? At what point, what causes someone to stop eating? So that's kind of our scenario that's going to frame how we want to think about marginal analysis. So, with that in mind, with that in the back of our head, let's start talking about some of these terms, what they mean, and how we can think through this scenario. As you're in the pizza buffet and you're eating pizza, right? At some point, you might begin to feel unwell, right? If you eat too much pizza or you eat too much of anything, um, you'll begin feeling unwell. The pizza might actually stop tasting so good, if you can imagine that. And in this marginal analysis framework, we need to be thinking about eating pizza as having a cost and a benefit, right? Aside from the money, don't even think about the money that you paid. Eating pizza or eating any food has a benefit and having a cost. So the benefit of eating pizza, first of all, is that pizza tastes good. And if you don't like pizza, then you can think about any other food. It applies the same way, whether you're thinking about pizza or you're thinking about um, French fries or you're thinking about hamburgers or salads or any food. Saltine crackers. We'll use that as an example later. Um, but eating has a benefit, right? First of all, you need to eat to survive. If you don't eat, you would starve. So that's the first thing, right? Is eating to sustain yourself, uh, but also eating can be enjoyable if the food tastes good. It feels good if you're hungry to be filled up, so to speak. So eating pizza or eating any food has a benefit, but it also has a cost, right? Um, Eating too much food is unhealthy. If you overeat, but also it might make you feel bad. It might actually make you feel sick if you overeat. Um, and every slice of pizza or every chicken sandwich or whatever food that you want to imagine contributes to that negative feeling that you can have from eating too much. So when we talk about marginal analysis, each slice of pizza that we eat has a benefit and a cost. Now, you might be thinking as we talk about this, what's this word marginal mean? Marginal. That's not really a word maybe that we've heard in other subject areas as we've been through school. It's not really a word that we uh, use a lot in our day to day lives. And when we see that word marginal, marginal analysis, marginal benefit, and marginal cost, right? I'm just circling these words here or rectangling them. Um, all marginal means is per unit, right? And when we're talking about eating pizza, right, the marginal benefit and the marginal cost for eating pizza is each slice on its own. So that's essentially the crux of what we're looking at: marginal benefit and marginal cost from each additional unit. So, marginal benefit is a benefit gained from eating each individual slice of pizza, and the marginal cost is the cost of eating each individual slice of pizza. And this will make more sense as we work through this with some examples. We talk about um, per unit consumption of resources or use of resources. Also, this term here, which we were talking about just a moment ago, the profit maximizing rule, is right. Like I said, what we were just talking about, the idea that the rational person would choose to consume a resource up until the point that the marginal benefit equals the marginal cost. So keeping that pizza buffet, all you can eat pizza buffet example in mind, each slice of pizza that you eat has a marginal benefit and a marginal cost. And under this profit maximizing rule, um, a rational person would continue to eat pizza at the all you can eat pizza buffet as long as the marginal benefit of each one of those slices of pizza is greater than or equal to the marginal cost. That is, with respect to pizza, the enjoyment that you get from eating the pizza is greater than the bad feeling that you might get from overeating pizza. So, marginal benefit to sum up here, framing this marginal analysis, marginal cost framework. Marginal means per unit or per slice of pizza. Um, and each slice of pizza has a benefit and it has a cost, right? And when you're at the pizza buffet and you're eating the pizza, um, it you would continue, if you're thinking rationally, you would eat the amount of slices of pizza that has a benefit that's greater than or equal to its cost. Okay. So we can express this concept in an economics and personal finance. We often do express this concept with a table that looks like this, right? And by the way, the tables might look different. You will typically have at least one table showing the amount of goods purchased, right? The units, um, the marginal benefit, and the marginal cost. Oh, no, the marginal cost is here. My bad. And then sometimes we'll get this total benefit and total cost as well. Uh, and this is how we often express this idea. So as we look at this chart, right, we can think of this like the pizza that we are talking about earlier. Um, when you go to the pizza buffet and you get that first slice of pizza, right, this first slice of pizza right here, the marginal benefit would express the enjoyment that you get from eating that slice of pizza, and the marginal cost would be the negatives associated with eating that slice of pizza. And the benefit for that first slice of pizza, it's kind of an arbitrary thing, but we're quantifying it as being 20, right? 20. Sometimes you hear these called utils, right? That's a unit of utility, but we don't necessarily need to know that. Uh, but we get 20 utils of marginal benefit for that first slice of pizza, and we get 10 utils of cost. So that first slice of pizza is more enjoyable than it is costly, right? I'll put a little greater than here, right? You know that from math class for many years. That 20 is greater than 10. We're good on that first slice of pizza. So you eat the first slice of pizza, and the marginal benefit was greater than the marginal cost for that first slice. So you are good. You like that. So you go back to the buffet line and you get a second slice of pizza, and you eat that slice of pizza and it's still enjoyable. But as we know, anybody who has experience eating, that the second slice of pizza, while still enjoyable, is maybe not quite as enjoyable as that first slice was, especially if you were hungry when you ate it. Um, so our marginal benefit has decreased slightly from 20 to 15. Right? So our marginal benefit has decreased slightly, but our marginal cost is still 10. Right? So you take a look, marginal benefit 15 is greater than 10. We're good. Second slice of pizza, we enjoyed it more than it hurt us. So now you've had two slices of pizza, right? You've benefited from those two slices of pizza, each on their own, more than you were, more than the costs that you incurred. So you go back again and you get a third slice of pizza. Again, we see that the marginal benefit has decreased, right? The third slice of pizza now is 10 in terms of its benefit, right? In terms of how much you enjoy the pizza, it's 10. The marginal cost is 10. You'll notice it's no longer greater, it's equal. So we say in marginal analysis with the profit maximizing rule that you would keep eating the pizza as long as the marginal benefit is greater than or equal to the marginal cost. So here we see the marginal benefit of that third slice of pizza is equal to the marginal cost. So under this profit maximizing rule that we use for marginal analysis, we'll give that a check mark. The third slice of pizza is okay. The analysis that we're doing here, right? We have eaten 3 slices of pizza. We have seen the enjoyment, or the value, the marginal benefit of each one of those slices of pizza decrease with each one because we've enjoyed it slightly less each time. And if we go to the buffet line now and we get the 4th slice of pizza, each slice of pizza becoming slightly less enjoyable than the last, our marginal benefit for that 4th slice of pizza is all the way down to 5 now. The marginal cost is still 10, right? It's still 10. You'll notice this time that the marginal cost of that 4th slice of pizza is now greater than the marginal benefit. So that 4th slice of pizza, the enjoyment has now dropped with each slice of pizza to the point that we are now beginning to feel more unwell from continuing to eat pizza than we are gaining enjoyment from eating it. Right? Which is no good, right? We don't want to feel worse from eating a slice of pizza. We like pizza too much to eat a slice of pizza and not feel, on the whole, better than we were before we ate it. So the marginal benefit is now less than the marginal cost. We should not eat that 4th slice of pizza. If we're thinking rationally, we should not eat that 4th slice of pizza because it is costing us more than it is benefiting us. Another thing with this table, and we won't always see this. Sometimes we'll see it and sometimes we won't. We see this column here, total benefit, and we see total cost as well. When we look at the total benefit is just adding up the marginal benefits. So the total benefit here on this first one is 20 because we've only had 1 slice of pizza, so 20, right? 20. When we add up the second slice of pizza, 20 plus 15 equals 35, right? So 20 plus 15 equals 35, right? And then we see 35 plus 10 equals 45, and then 45 plus 5 equals 50, right? We don't need to worry too much about total benefit. Sometimes we'll see this, sometimes we won't. We don't actually need to see the total benefit in order to answer these questions correctly and to think through it correctly. But sometimes you'll see it. And then we see the same thing with cost, right? The total cost is just the marginal cost added up. Each one of the slices of pizza has a marginal cost of 10, so it's just adding 10 every time. Right? So now that we've kind of worked through this first example here with the pizza, we get a feel for how marginal analysis works. It seems, just like basically everything that we see in economics, it seems more complicated than it really is with these fancy words like marginal, which are words that we don't use very often in our day-to-day lives, and is probably not a word that you've seen so much in other classes that you've taken in school. Even though we see these fancy words that maybe intimidate us a little bit, it's illustrating a concept which you've probably intuitively understood for a very long time, since you were a little kid. No matter how much you like pizza, at some point you're going to stop eating, right? And for different people, it's a different amount. Some people only eat 1 or 2 slices of pizza. I mean, personally, I've probably eaten 6 slices of pizza before, maybe more than that, because I do love pizza, and I know a lot of people do. And then some of you watching this video, maybe you've eaten more than that. But it doesn't matter if you've only had 2 slices of pizza or if maybe you've eaten 10 slices of pizza. At some point, you've stopped eating the pizza, and maybe what you've realized without thinking it through with exactly this model is that you stopped eating the pizza because you thought to yourself, this pizza is now hurting me more than it's helping me, right? The enjoyment that I'm getting from eating the pizza is no longer greater than this pain that I have in my stomach because I've eaten so much. We'll go ahead now and look at another example. This time the table is going to look slightly different, but the idea is exactly the same. This time we're looking at saltines, so we're sticking with food, but this time we're looking at saltines. So if you don't like pizza, right, saltines, right, it's a much more inoffensive food. Um, but we're looking at the same concept. You'll notice this time that there's no total, um, that there's no total, um, we're not adding up the marginal benefits or the marginal costs. And by the way, this could say utility. That's probably a better way to put it. I'll probably edit this PowerPoint to be more precise. But it's illustrating the exact same concept. If you've ever eaten saltine crackers or pita crackers or any kind of cracker, you know what's going on here. And we approach it the exact same way. You eat a saltine cracker, maybe it tastes good, maybe you're hungry, and that first saltine cracker has a marginal benefit of 15. The marginal cost is 3. That first saltine cracker is good, right? We have benefited from it more than it cost us, right? By 12. The second saltine cracker that we eat, right? The marginal benefit is 10. The marginal cost is 4, right? Sometimes we see marginal costs increase, by the way, or often we do, actually, in these examples. But we're just looking and seeing for each, we're going, saltine cracker by saltine cracker, unit by unit. The second one, 10 is greater than 4. The second saltine cracker is okay. It's good. We're benefiting from it more than we are incurring costs. A third saltine cracker, again, is getting less enjoyable every time, just like the pizza did. Our marginal benefit's 5. Our marginal cost is 5, right? Remember, we continue to consume the resource or the product as long as the marginal benefit is greater than or equal to the marginal cost. So that third saltine cracker, the marginal benefit is equal to the marginal cost. Check mark. We go down to the fourth one, and now we see the marginal benefit is 3, and the marginal cost is 6. Marginal cost is greater than marginal benefit. We don't eat that fourth saltine. And then the fifth, right? Of course, we don't eat that one either. And as we look at this table, right, it's basically the exact same thing that we saw with the pizza. And it's essentially the same thing that we're going to see with every marginal analysis problem that we encounter in economics and personal finance. We consume saltine crackers, pizza at CC's Pizza, or any other resource the same way, right? We will consume or we will use the amount of that resource unit by unit as long as we are benefiting from that greater than we're incurring costs, right? That is the profit maximizing rule, and that's how we approach marginal analysis, marginal benefit, and marginal cost, right? Like I said, it can be intimidating. Students often get tripped up by this. I think that they are tripped up by that word marginal, which seems scary, but it just means per unit. It just means that we're taking a look at each saltine cracker on its own. And also this word utility, which is another word. It's a little bit more common than marginal, but it's not a word that we see so often. But what it's illustrating is something that every person watching this video kind of innately understands, right? And that they've practiced it many times in the course of their life. One last thing that we'll take a look at before we end this video on marginal analysis is this total utility column that we have here. This time, uh, we've added up the total utility, um, which is something that we might see on a test. Is a table that we might see on the test, um, or maybe we won't. But it doesn't really matter because what matters is the marginal benefit and marginal cost. But it's helpful for us to understand the profit maximizing rule, and it's helpful for understanding why we approach marginal analysis the way that we do. So if we take a look at this first saltine cracker, the marginal benefit minus the marginal cost was 12, right? 15 minus 3 is 12, right? So our our total utility, our marginal utility for that one was 12. Um, and then we take a look at the second saltine, the marginal benefit minus the marginal cost, 10 minus 4 is 6. Our marginal utility for that second saltine is 6. Total utility, I just added 12 plus 6. It equals 18, right? So we continue to gain from consuming that second saltine cracker, right? 5 minus 5 is 0. So we get 18, right? If you're following what's going on here with the profit maximizing rule and marginal benefit being greater than or equal to marginal cost, you'll see 18, right? We haven't really benefited or been incurred costs from eating that third saltine. So it's 18 plus 0, 18. But you'll take a look with that fourth saltine cracker, the marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit. We are actually now going negative, right? We're now subtracting utility. So this is why we stop at that third saltine, because we're now going negative, which we don't want to do in general. When we're making economic decisions, we don't want to go negative. So now our total utility, our total enjoyment from our saltine cracker eating experience is now going negative with each saltine that we're eating. And if we're thinking rationally, we don't want to go negative. That's why we stopped after the third one. And then, of course, we continue to go negative if we have the fifth one as well, right? So it's something that trips students up, marginal analysis, uh, but I think it's more intimidating than it is difficult because I guarantee you that you intuitively understand this concept. It's just the tables can trip people up, and then some of these fancy words like marginal can trip people up. But the basic concept that we need to understand is that we keep eating the saltines, we keep eating the pizza, we keep consuming the economic resource as long as we are benefiting from that additional unit, or we're going even, right? Going even's okay for this, but we stop when we start going negative. We don't want to go negative, right? We want to maximize our profit. We want to benefit to the greatest extent possible. So I hope this video has helped. I hope that if you were intimidated by marginal analysis, or you've struggled, or you've been tripped up by this topic, that this video will be helpful for you as you approach this concept, as you look at these marginal analysis tables that we see in class and practice, that we will certainly see on our Unit 1 test and on the final exam at the end of the semester, that this is a very simple concept that's kind of wrapped up in some intimidating language and tables here. But once you get past that initial intimidation, you will see that it's a very simple concept that you probably already understand. But if you have any questions at all about marginal analysis, about marginal benefit and marginal cost, and how we approach these problems, do not hesitate to write me and ask, or leave a comment on the video, or come and talk to me in person, and we will work through this. This is, once again, a foundational topic. It is the topic in Unit 1 that's maybe one of the most important, but it's also one that students get tripped up on. So I hope that this video has helped, and if you need help, reach out. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you later.